Retiring early sounds great. You have no boss, and with no job you can fill your day however you want. If you plan to sit on the beach drinking pina coladas, that's just fine.
If you like pina coladas.
Golf 7 days a week, that's absolutely your choice. But you might be surprised to hear that early retirement may not be what you expect.
What?
The good news is that knowing any potential challenges is the first step to overcoming them. And in this video, I'll share some of the truths I've come across in my own early retirement and secrets from people who have been retired for a few years have shared with me. And with that, let's get into the video. If you're new to this channel, I'm Connor from founder.co.uk, a very early retiree who chats about earning money, saving money, investing it wisely and planning for your own early retirement. I've spent the last 13 years planning to retire and I did so at the age of 40. Nowadays, I put content here live on YouTube to help others do exactly what I've done. Like the sound of that?
Yes!
Well, be sure to check out my other videos for a deep dive into early retirement advice and planning. For many people, early retirement can bring with it the biggest pay cut you've ever had in your career. If you don't plan, save and invest enough, you might not have the retirement you expect. Worrying about money during your career is one thing, but worrying about it when there is no income or no ability to earn any more is another altogether. A retirement with less money than you need is no way to spend your later years. Always start and plan decades before you hope to retire. If possible, start planning for your retirement the day you start your first job. For those of you who have saved hard over your career and retired with enough, money will be less of a focus. I used to follow the stock market daily, watching the ebbs and flows of the FTSE 100 and knowing what impact this had on my finances was just part of my daily routine. Now, if I check my finances once a month, that's a complete exaggeration. During your career, your focus is wholly on accumulating enough money to last you for the rest of your life. When you stop working and start withdrawing from your retirement accounts, this can be a huge challenge for many early retirees. It takes time to adjust to the fact that you're now withdrawing money from your savings. But knowing when you've saved enough and having a retirement plan is critical to preserving wealth and enjoying this time in a more carefree manner. I often joke that I don't know where I got the time to work. Honestly, the days merge into weeks and the weeks into months. My schedule, which was once busy and filled with work, is now filled with other tasks. I take my daughter to school, I make dinner from scratch most days, and I play golf a couple of times per week. These are my new priorities that I've set for my retirement, and it's vital that you do the same. If you think that you'll just quit work and figure it all out on the other side, the change of routine from a fast pace to no pace can be extremely challenging. If work was your life, which it was for me, it will be difficult to replace this with new interests, projects or activities because you've never had to do so before now. So how will you spend your time in retirement? I read online, success is getting what you want and happiness is wanting what you get. Most people need to build the retirement they want before they reach this state of life. Otherwise, there are only so many books you can read, holidays you can go on, or I'll admit, rounds of golf that you can play before you start to bore with it. This channel and my website founder.co.uk are my retirement projects. They give me a sense of purpose that allows me to continue to learn and to teach the knowledge that I have to a wide range of people. I have no schedule and create new content only when I feel like it. But my 136 subscribers on YouTube drive me forward. Thanks guys. For many of us who spend 20, 30 or more years in our careers, our identity can be intrinsically linked and tied to our work. As a business owner, it was my name above the door, and the minute I left the company I founded, I was no longer part of its journey, and it was no longer part of mine. That is the old me, and I'm working hard now to define the new me. Many early retirees I've spoken to note that it can be very difficult to leave the working world behind, especially when their career has defined them as a person. Doctors, solicitors, or indeed those who have devoted their lives to their careers will lose the sense of belonging and being needed. Because when you leave your role behind, make no mistake about it, you will be replaced and replaced immediately. Knowing what you want from your early retirement is critical to it being a fulfilling experience. You don't have to leave your identity at the door when you walk out. Are there options to teach, consult or be involved in other areas of your industry? Or do you want to try new things and devote yourself to new challenges? The good news is that you have the opportunity to do whatever you want. It is your retirement. It's Wednesday afternoon and you want a round of golf or a pint in the pub. Well, as an early retiree, you can go and do just that. But if your friends or family are still working, it might be difficult to fill the time. And when they get off work, finally, their free time is limited, so you're really at the mercy of their schedule, not your own. Early retirement can be lonely. I'm personally an introvert, and if I sat in this studio every day, it would become a very lonely existence. In retirement, I have chosen to take up golf and I play a few times a week. For each of the rounds, I have different golfing partners. Some are retired family members, others are people who work in relaxed work schedules. A few years ago, you might have found it difficult to find someone under 60 on the golf course or the tennis court on a Wednesday morning. I can guarantee you now that these days, with more flexible working practices, there is always someone to get a game with. However, you will need to look for new social groups and to put yourself out there in retirement, and it does make it a much more fulfilling experience, I promise. Let's be honest here, if you've worked for 20 years and suddenly you stop working, then you might not like the slowdown in pace. It might also cause a new home life dynamic that you've never encountered before. There are many reasons why you might not like being retired, and we've covered some of them already. I spoke to one early retiree who took up an allotment so that they had their own space. Being thrust into full-time home life was a challenge for them. This is a new period of your life, and it will take some adjusting to, not just for you, but for your partner and your family also. Retirement is a number, not an age. For most people, retirement can happen when you can afford to do so. Just because you've reached an age where you're expected to retire doesn't mean you have to. And early retirement can include working. For some people, this may afford them some of the nicer things. For others, it may be a necessity. Working may bring an income with it, and that is absolutely fine. It also may not, as many of those who are early retired choose to volunteer their time in areas that they support or may be in need of certain skills. This is your retirement, and if you choose to work, that is absolutely your choice. If you want to make an income, then there is nobody stopping you except yourself. Most people expect their costs to go down in retirement. However, if we consider that during our working lives, we are generally unable to do anything that costs money while we're working, there is now a huge portion of our time that must be filled. And some of this newly acquired time will be filled with tasks and activities that cost money. Budgeting is the key to building wealth and staying wealthy. It doesn't stop when you stop working. Maintaining control on your budget will allow you to continue to spend on the things that you truly value and ensure that you have enough money throughout your early retirement. I'll be completely honest with you. Everything I've discussed in this video are challenges that I've faced or observations I've made speaking to other early retirees. Retirement can be one of the most enjoyable experiences in anyone's life, but for some, it can be one of the worst or most challenging. Like anything worth fighting for, retirement needs work and focus. It needs time, and it also needs preparation for the day and the hour that you leave work for the last time. Retiring to something is key, and knowing that we're going towards something exciting, not away from work, is critical. Let me know in the comments how your early retirement is going, and if you have any advice for other early retirees, please do share it. Thanks so much for watching Foundered Money, and if you do like my content, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. You can do that somewhere down below, or share it with somebody else who might want this knowledge and insight. Thanks again, and have a great day.